and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. Excuse me, here we are. Thursday evening. Can you believe that? Maundy Thursday, 14th of April 2022. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry. I always go to cough when I start a live. It must be psychosomatic, I think. But thank you for joining me. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. So thank you for joining me. It's 7 p.m. just after here in the UK, and I appreciate that you may be watching this from outside of the UK, but you also may be watching on replay or catch up either on Facebook or on YouTube. You can choose whichever you prefer, and therefore if you have any queries or comments on what we run through this evening, then don't hesitate, pop them in the comment section and I will be able to get back to you. So this evening we are working with the suit and tie dies, and I did reference these yesterday when we made this little card here with the handsomely suited stamp set. And this has a bow tie that spins round. I did think it would be fun to get a little motor and make it spin round, but I didn't quite get that far. But a sweet little card. It needs a sentiment adding to it. But this stamp set is one of our retiring stamps, and therefore once it's sold out, either by the 2nd of May or before, then it won't be available to order. So yesterday we featured the stamp set, and the stamp set is called Handsomely Suited, and today we're featuring the dies, and they're called Suit and Tie dies, and they are also reduced in price. You bring these here, so these are the dies themselves, and this is what they create. And this shows it better than showing you the dies themselves. And so we have the strip here that can be used obviously for a banner in its own right, but I used it here to make the braces. And then you've got elements for a pocket that you can use, elements for the two different bow ties. You have the little buttons. You have a tie here. This is obviously missing a tie from the top. It's been stuck in my drawer for a little while. And then the elements that make up the shirt itself. So I'm just making sure that we are indeed live, just to make sure we are where we should be. So strangely enough, it hasn't come up on my phone. Let me just make sure. Normally it pops up a little message, unless everywhere is very busy, which is quite possible. Okay, there we are. It does say we're live. Good. Okay, so let me carry on talking about these dies. Okay, so the dies create all of these elements, and this is two samples of the card. We have this one here on the right and one on the left, so I'm going to recreate a version of those. And as is the last one, I'm going to go for some really bold colours for my suit and my shirt. And one of the other things that I used is this shape here, which creates the pocket. And I use this to make a banner And this is designed for a scrapbook page, but obviously you could use elements of this on a card. And the other thing that this features, it does feature the balloon punch and the rainbow glimmer paper, which is also retiring. And it also features the playful alphabet. And this alphabet set is also retiring, which I'm gutted about. I have to say I'm not getting rid of mine. I have 2 sets. And what's fabulous about this is that as well as a lot of dies, there are 58 in total. You get some of these, the popular letters duplicated. So for example, there are 2 E's, there are 2 I's, there's 2 L's, and of course I can't spot any others right at the minute, and there's 2 A's and there's 2 O's. So if you're doing the name Jenny, for example, hi Jeanette, then you could cut all of those out in one go. So I'm talking about the playful alphabet, Jeanette. Obviously, once you've got an alphabet set, then people tend to hold on to them. And this is a really nice size for card making, but also for scrapbooking. So these are currently still available, as are the suit and tie dies, which I've just double checked on the website. And the handsomely suited stamp set is also available. So I just made this into a scrapbook page using the rainbow glimmer paper and just some 12 by 12 paper with a wood effect. Obviously you can pop your photo on there, and then I just cut out happy birthday from black card for that. So just to give you another idea. Hi Brenda. And obviously the balloons were cut out with the dual balloon punch that we had available. Okay, so that's the pocket that I've used here, and these are all of the dies themselves. So I'm just going to show you how easy it is to create a card with a suit using the dies. So let's pop that to one side. I shall definitely be sad to see this set go. So I've just picked up the die that went in there. What do you think I've just done with that now? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to recreate a suit and tie, but I'm just going to go really bold for the last time that this is going to be seen. So I've got a choice of either this black set of black dots for the suit with this as the shirt, or I've got these, it was the many marvellous papers, which looks a bit like a sort of silk with well, it doesn't really matter what I use for the tie. I could use any of those really. That'd be quite a good tie. So let me know which one you think would be the best. That's just going to do a black tie. That's right. So I've got a base card of Smoky Slate, and this will fit a standard card. So there's my base card. And the components that we need are this V to cut the V shape out of the front piece, and then we need this piece that cuts the lapels on either side. Oh, I don't know, Brenda. Jeanette, is your video okay? It looks okay on mine. It did take a while for it to sort of appear, so whether there's something going on that's causing a lot of delays, I don't know. Could be. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with the bold, this really bold piece for the jacket. So what I'm going to do is cut this piece the size of the front of my card to begin with. If you're having problems, what you can do is sort of log out and back in again, Brenda. Jeanette's not having any problems, got no problems on mine. It could be the weather. So I'm going to cut this just under 10.5, literally a millimetre shorter, and then 14.75, just so that it fits on the card. Whoops. Without overlapping. So that's going to go onto there, and from that I'm going to cut my V shape, and then I'm going to cut the lapel at the same time. Okay, thanks Brenda. So I've got this piece here, and this will cut the whole lapel in one go. So what I could do is do this at an angle, or I could do this straight, and it really doesn't matter, it's just your preference. On this one I've actually done it straight, and amazingly the lines just about line up. They don't in that case. So let's do this one first. So I'm going to pop this in the center, and I've got some useful measurements on the side. I hope you're well, Jeanette. I'm down in your part of the world again today at Filter. Poor Sam was poorly. Well, we had a good session. So this has got like an open blade. So I'm just going to position this. There's like half. I've got 1, 2, 1, 2. And then I'm just going to centralize it in the next one, like so. And I'm just using some washi tape on here to hold it in place. So that's going to be my V for my jacket. And then this piece here I'm going to cut out, and I could, if I wanted to, make this exactly the same so that the lines match up. Oh, jolly good. But it's sort of in the middle of a set of dots, so I'm just going to put it there, I think. And this will cut out the whole thing. So just pop some tape on there. So a little bit of washi tape just to hold it in the die cutting machine. Let's get it roughly straight. Let's put one across here. Oops. That should be enough. Okay, so my die cutting machine is just behind me. So just going to lift those over and pop them down. I'll put them through separately. And it should just need one run through. Oh gosh, look at that. That's that one. And I'll do this one. Like so. So here's my lapels there. Let's put that back on there so I don't lose it. And this is my shirt, jacket rather. those off. Put that back on there. I didn't quite put it right on the very top, so I'm just going to snip that. And of course I'm in between coffee and cards, so I'm going to find things in my bag. Like so. So now I've got that, and I've got my lapel. Not that you can see it particularly. If I turn it round, you'll see it a little bit better. Like so. Oh, actually, I might leave it like that. Okay. Okay, so that's going to go onto there, like so. Now we want our shirt behind, and so I chose this bold print to go behind, and that just needs to be a rectangle of this paper to fit behind this V shape. So if I just measure that V, so if I make it 7 centimeters by 12, I should be able to pop it behind this piece. I'm just going to do that first, and then I can cut out the tie, sorry, the collar, beg your pardon. You can tell it's been a long day, can't you? So 7, just make it a little bit bigger, by 12. That's that. Okay, so I've just got kicked off my phone, so let's see if anybody's left behind. Okay, maybe not. So this is going to get positioned behind here, like so, and then out of this piece, or even the bottom piece, I'm going to cut the collar here, which is this piece here. And it's quite easy to get this, you can use it sort of either way, but I like to use the collar with that flat side across the top rather than that pointed side. And as luck would have it, that's going to fit out of that bit I cut at the bottom. So I will just do that. Quite bold prints, aren't they? So just going to pop that through. There's my collar. And then I'm just going to cut a plain black tie. I think that plain black might be prudent. So you can have a tie or you can have a bow tie. I'm going to have just a straight tie like that. Actually going to cut it out of the middle. Oh, you're here. Good. Still. Hi, Trudy. Great to see you. So normally I would say, you know, cut it out of a corner, but I can use this as a layer on a card with something over the top. So I'm going to cut it a little bit further in from the left. Let's run that through. Like so. So you can see how we're building up our design here and there. This is what we're creating. And I could create, I might just have a plain, shall I have a plain pocket? I quite fancy doing, just because, you know, we're going to go funky. So I could do the pocket in that, couldn't I? Why not? So let's grab that pocket die. And I'm just going to position it so that it's going to work out the where to put it. Da-da-da-da. There we go. I think in there. Let's grab a bit of tape. So sorry, my die cutter machine is just off the edge, so you can't see this. Just run that through. This is where the mini machine would be most useful. So much quicker for small pieces. I hope you're okay, Trudy, and that you've had a reasonable day. Okay, that's that. And I'm just going mad with patterns. So I think our hanky is going to come out of this as well. And what I did for our hanky was I used this shape, and then just use these top points for handkerchiefs. Come. And if you caught it yesterday, you'll know that I said that this reminds me of my lovely dad, who sadly is no longer with us, because he always had matching handkerchiefs and ties, and he always wore a suit, and he'd often wear a waistcoat as well. Okay, so let's just cut this up, and these are sort of just going to go in. Could even just do it like that, look. Oh good, I'm very pleased to hear that you're better than yesterday, Trudy. That is good. So basically I'm going to put this together. So there's a couple of samples at the top. Sorry, that's reflecting a little bit. Let me bring it down out of the light. So what I'm going to do first is I can either attach this to the card, or I can attach it to this piece here. Okay, I think I'm going to attach it to this piece, and then I can put that down. All I need to be aware of is that I want to tuck the tie underneath. Okay, so I'm not going to glue this bottom bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put glue down these two sides. To that point, like so, and attach these together, and it doesn't really matter if it's central or not. So what you could do is put that layer on your card first if you wanted to. Okay. Now I can stick all of the edge of that onto my card. Hopefully I haven't lost anything en route. Like so. So this is great, obviously, if you have men in the family or in your life that wear a suit, have worn a suit, would like to wear a suit. Although I'm guessing with so many people working from home, wearing a suit is probably a lot less prevalent than it used to be. Okay, this is my collar, and as I say, what I recommend is that you have the, oops, you break it like that. You have the flat side up here, and what I'm going to do is put those up on dimensional so I can tuck the tie underneath. Okay, so let's grab some dimensionals. There we go. And it's hard to believe I was demonstrating this over a year ago to the demonstrator base across the world. All right, just thinking about this. So I'm just going to put a little snip of dimensional across the top of that. Like so. Now you can pull it apart if you want to have that wider, and I remember distinctly when I demonstrated this, when I picked it up it broke, and I said, of course, one of the benefits is because it's so fine you can just make it into a wider collar. It did get a few laughs at the time because they knew that I'd broken it. Okay, so there's my collar. I know you can't really see that detail, but hopefully you can. My shirt collar. Okay, now I've got my black tie, which I know I should be able to tuck in here. Famous last words. Okay, but obviously you could have a, you know, a funky coloured tie as well. That's going to go into there. Have I done the wrong end? No, I haven't. Thought I'd lost the plot then. Okay, so I've tucked it in there, and then I'm going to move it up underneath the collar like so. One of the cards I made with this as my samples was a pair of pyjamas. I have to say I'd had great fun with this. So I'm going to pop this flat like so. And I'm not going to worry about sticking the bottom of it down because once it's in place, it's not going to go anywhere. I can get it in place in the first place. There we go. So I'm just going to tuck it up underneath. And before I put it down, I just want to make sure it's roughly straight. Now, one of the elements of the dies is this piece here, which allows you to do the knot. So I'll show you the difference. This is without the knot, it's one piece. And this one here, I cut the knot in the other direction, so it was really obvious. Okay, so you can do it whichever way you prefer. This has got a lot going on, so I'm not going to add another bit to that. And then I have got the pocket, which I cut out, but I've now got to find it. I've got a feeling I might have put it on the floor. Not on purpose, you understand. So of course this is the bit I cut it from, and I can't find it now. If you can see it, let me know. Okay, I will cut another one, and I've also got our lapel to go on here. So shall I have that funky side to it, or shall I leave it like that? Okay, just going to cut out another pocket while we deliberate on that. Let's pop this tie back. There's the pocket die. So let me know. I'm just cutting this one out. Go. Funky, go funky. Okay, so if I turn this over, we've got this funky lapel and then the funky pocket, like so. Doesn't really matter which side it goes or where it goes, really. Okay, let's pop the lapel on, and then what I did for the handkerchiefs was I just took that spare collar and then just pulled it apart, and then I was going to pop those in together like that. Okay, so I'm going to pop the lapel on with dimensionals at the top and the middle, and then I'm going to let it drop down to a point and glue the point. Okay, so I've turned it over so we've got the funky side out. So it's going to pop half dimensional here and here, a dimensional at the top, so, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on either side. Okay. So the dies are reduced. So you can buy the die, to be honest, you can buy these dies on their own, and I think you can have a lot of fun with just the dies. And you can buy the stamp set. The stamp set is half price, so the stamp set is now only £10, and that features the bow tie and the normal ties and a series of sentiments. So make a bit of mess of this. A little bit higher. And if for any reason you sort of stretched any elements of this, you can just snip this and drop it back into place. You won't see it, but I've just added that there. So far so good. Whoops, the daisy. It really is quite funky, isn't it? And then we're going to have our pocket. I haven't quite decided which side this is going to go. Don't think it really matters, but this has got stitching on, but to be honest, with this patterning you can't actually see the stitching. So what I'm going to do is just put these two on the back like that. So just add they're alive, everybody. So those are my 2 points that I want to use. So just a bit of glue and a bit of glue. That's on the wrong side. Never mind. Let's try that. So I'm going to have the funky side of that. Bit there. And there's probably enough glue there to do that, like so. And then I'm going to put that on with dimensionals. Oop. There we go. Put one across that join. There we go. I've got a bit sticky. So it's Good Friday tomorrow. So happy Easter to those who celebrate it. Let me see. I don't really know which side. I'm going to put it here. And I've got those nice stripes to line it up with. So there we go. There is our funky suit, shirt, tie, pocket and hanky. And obviously you can put your sentiment or whatever inside. And what you could do is use the dies here, the alphabet dies, if they had a short name, or you could use it for initials. So this is retiring as well, the playful alphabet. If you haven't got an alphabet die set, I really do recommend it. So you could do, you know, Dad or whatever, Pa, or somebody's initials, or you could do an age as well, especially excuse me, if you've got the pocket, you could put somebody's age on the pocket. So what's nice about this alphabet set, as I was saying, is there are duplicates. There's 58 dies, but you also get, as well as the alphabet with a series of duplicates, you get all the numbers as well. So you get a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 6 doubles up as the 9. Okay, so the playful alphabet set is retiring, but it is still currently in stock. Okay, as are actually these papers, the black and white papers. Okay, so there we have our funky. I think this would be great actually for somebody in a band that dresses up. Thank you, Jeanette. Have a good Easter yourself too. You know, maybe somebody who's in a I don't know, dresses in a suit or something funky. If you know somebody who would dress like that, then you better let me know and I'll send you the card. I have got an idea for somebody, but if you knew of someone, do let me know. So there we go. That is the suit and tie dies. Those are my earlier examples. And for anybody who didn't see right at the beginning, that's all of the dies that you get in the set. And then that's what I did with just the pocket die and also the alphabet. And obviously I've done this as a scrapbook page as an example, but you could do, you know, that as a banner around a card. And this rainbow glimmer paper is also retiring. I haven't double checked whether that is still available or not. And that is it. So I hope you've enjoyed my run through this week of some of my favourite retiring items. Don't delay ordering them if there is anything you want, because they are only available while stocks last. But if you have any queries or you want me to double check anything for you, please just let me know. Look, there it is. Just found that. Just let me know, just ask, and I'll be delighted to help you. Obviously that is for orders in the UK only. Outside of the UK, if you're in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, then contact your local demonstrator who will be able to help you. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your evening. I've just got to prepare for tomorrow's coffee and card in Brackley, and then I can put my feet up. So that is my plan for this evening. So thank you once again. Do take care, and I look forward to crafting with you soon. Any questions on what I've created today, don't hesitate to leave me a message or a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, then I'd love it if you subscribe, and then you will get notifications of each of my YouTubes as they get uploaded. One of the benefits of watching on YouTube is that you can fast forward, and you can watch this at 1.5 the speed. So if you're pushed for time, you can scroll forward until the beginning of the crafting, and you can flick that through at 1.5 speed, and it just saves you a few minutes here and there. Thank you so much, everybody. So lovely to have you join me. Have a nice evening, morning, afternoon, depending on when you're watching, and I look forward to catching up with you real soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great Easter. I may or may not be here bank holiday Monday. I haven't quite decided, so I'm just going to leave that open for the moment, and I will post if I am going live. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care now. Bye bye.